G'day and welcome back to the channel, Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and this is my Terrifier 3 movie review. Now, you would have known this was coming. I mean, it is Christmas time. I am looking at Christmas-themed horror movies, and what bigger horror movie icon of the year than Art the Clown? So, we are going to check this one out. But before I do want to say a big thank you to all my new and existing subscribers. You know, I say it every week, but it means a lot to me because I'm edging ever closer to 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, I still do hope to hit that by New Year's Eve. Before New Year's Eve would be great. But I do want to say thank you because it does mean the world to me. And yeah, seriously, without you guys, I'd just be talking to a camera, which is what I'm doing now anyway. But look, anyway, before I dribble on too much, thank you. So, Terrifier 3 came out this year. It was directed by Damienleone. The film stars laurenlavera, David Howard Thornton, Antonella Rose, Elliot Fulham, Samantha Scafidi, Margaret Ann Florence, Chrissy Fox, and many more. A couple of names that I hope I pronounced them correctly. Yeah, who knows. But anyway, now the plot. Art the Clown is set to unleash chaos on the unsuspecting residents of Millis County as they blissfully drift off to sleep on Christmas Eve. Yeah, such a nice way to start a movie, right? But we all know that Art the Clown is not going to let them sleep too peacefully. Now, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen this one, it only came out, a couple of months ago, really, so it is really fresh. But there will be spoilers ahead, just so you know. Anyway, before we get into the whole kit and caboodle of the movie, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. Be much appreciated, and it helps with that whole YouTube algorithm thing. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel because, like I said, getting towards that 1,000, every subscriber helps, and I do truly appreciate it. So, Terrifier 3 dives deeper into Art the Clown's nightmarish world. And it brings with it the gleeful gore and over-the-top antics that fans of the series have come to expect. You know, they really set a benchmark with the second one. And whilst I did have my issues with that film, you know, the gore in it was over-the-top and out there and completely insane. And they've kept it going with this. Only this time it's Christmas. And Art is coming bearing gifts. Big, bloody, explosive, and brutal gifts. So, yeah. Now, this movie is more than just a glorified excuse for excessive blood, gore, and chaos. There is more than enough to keep even, you know, the most excessive gorehound happy. The blood and guts flow very freely throughout the whole entire movie, but this time it is more than that. Damienleone ups the ante on shock value, but he also injects bit more of a substantial storyline this time and introduces a bit more of the mythology surrounding Art's origins and his supernatural ties. And they really do emphasize on that supernatural aspect of it, which is a bit of a detriment, especially to some people, but it also makes a little bit more sense when you look at Art the Clown's progression. So yeah, let's kick back and see what Art the Clown has in his Christmas bag of tricks.
Like big bushy, Ginger Ninja on the prowl, smacking on pretenders with a salty caramel growl. 50-second flicks, reviews hotter than the sun. Sword master underwater battles never done. Rocket shot, steady hand, cold as ice. Critics in the crosshairs, he don't think twice. Movie scenes dissected, sliced with precision. Beard game strong, legendary vision. Ginger Ninja, bare royal pristine. Voice flashing waves, no denying he's a king. Salted caramel lessons, leaves him in awe. Movie review, assassin laying down law. Ginger Ninja, bare royal pristine. Voice slicing waves, no denying he's the king. Salted caramel essence, leaves him in awe. Movie review, assassin laying down law. Bare oil packed, ready for the fight. Where the sharks afflicts, he conquers the night. From silver screens to ocean depths below, Ginger Ninja reigns, that's all you gotta know. Bare oil stash glistening in the light. Mixed vodka with knowledge crafted in sight. Shark fin haters, they scatter for sight. Ninja ninja's wisdom, looking dynamite. Legends we crafted from tales people tell. Salted caramel dreams in a vodka infused shell. 50 seconds flat, analyzing with flair. Ninja ninja forever, ain't nobody compare.
All right, so kicking it off with the cast, and look, Art the Clown is and always will be the star of the show. David Howard Thornton's performance remains the highlight of the series. His ability to be simultaneously hilarious and terrifying is uncanny. You know, Art's mind-like antics and cartoonish sense of humor, it contrasts with the sheer brutality of his actions. You know, and it creates a villain who's impossible to look away from. Yeah, and look, that's not to say that the other actors in the installment do not excel at this. They do. Returning as Sienna, we have laurenlavera. Now, she brings an emotional depth to the film, portraying a character grappling with trauma while fighting to protect her family. However, I did find some of the emotional beats sometimes feel underdeveloped. You know, and much of the screen time is spent processing her trauma, which is, that's obviously important. It slows down the pacing. But her performance does bring a very grounded intensity to a very otherwise chaotic narrative. The supporting cast, including Sienna's extended family, bring back Jonathan, played by Elliot Fulham, in introducing her aunt, Jessica, Margaret Ann Florence. They're great, but they are mainly there as fodder for Art's carnage. Okay? The other characters, especially the younger ones, they add a layer of discomfort, pushing the boundaries and eliciting visceral reactions from the audience. You know, those younger characters are there for that very reason, and that was the intended purpose. You know, given the uproar that the trailer caused at the hint of a child being one of Art's victims. You know, if you remember when that first trailer came out and it shows Art with the axe and the young girl thinking he's Santa, what was the uproar like with that? It was massive. So yeah, it's there for a reason, and it is there to make you talk about it. So moving on to the directing and the writing, Damienleone, who serves as both writer and director, demonstrates his commitment to crafting a unique and visceral horror experience. But his script for Terrifier 3 continues to showcase both his strengths and his limitations. Yeah, his attempts to build upon the loose mythology introduced in previous films, weaving in surreal elements that hint at broader supernatural elements, and a narrative surrounding Art and his connection with other characters like Sienna and her father. This approach adds a layer of intrigue, though it's very divisive amongst fans. Like, some people see him as this supernatural killer. Others think he should be more just a straight up psychopath. That is up to you. Do we want Art as a demonic, unstoppable killing force bent on unleashing chaos and mayhem, or just a completely batshit insane clown killing at random? Doesn't matter. What do you like? I mean, personally, I like the idea that he has a plan. He is being used by something to create something. I like that idea. Either one I'm fine with, to be honest. And both are very heavily hinted at throughout Art's history. If you look at his previous films, he's been supernatural, he's been psychotic, he's been human, he's been demon. It could be anything. Maybe one day we will finally have an answer, but until then, we can only guess. Now, one thing Leone does excel at is creating visceral, unsettling atmosphere, and that stays true to Terrifier's franchise, the whole identity of this franchise. Like, if you look at Terrifier 1, we had that scene where he cuts someone right down the middle. Terrifier 2, we had that extended, brutal flaying and salt pouring scene. That was pretty intense. And we have very similar scenes in this, which I'll touch on the effects, but the film goes for 2 hours, and whilst these scenes are good, the film struggles with its runtime and its pacing within the runtime. To get to those parts, we have to deal with exploring Sienna and Jonathan's backstory, their relationship, which it feels drawn out and somewhat repetitive in a way. Jonathan, I really do not care for as a character. He seems very annoying, and the way he's written, and this whole part of it undercut the film's momentum for me, and it left me eager to return to Art's chaotic rampages. That scene with him in the bar was one of the best scenes in the whole film, where he's sees Santa and he gets really excited. That was so well done. It was so well written. It was so well acted and direct. Everything about that scene was near perfect. I won't get into the effects because that's coming up, but yeah. And look, that whole runtime thing and the pacing, that was a major issue I had with Terrifier 2. And this was not as bad. So don't get me wrong. There were improvements with the pacing. It's still a long ass movie to sit through. And now we're onto the effects. And let's be honest, if there's one thing that the Terrifier films are known for, it's their brutal, bloody gore and effects. And if there's one thing Terrifier 3 excels at, it is the gore. And I mean, look, I'll be honest, what more can be said about the effects that has not been said already? There are scenes in this which just are very brutal, and they actually are finger curling in some respects. Particularly the end scene where there's broken fingers happening, things like that. You feel the bones crunch. You see the bones coming through the skin. It looks amazing. The whole shower scene, the chainsaw up the keister, yeah, they make you squirm, and they will make the most seasoned horror film fans squirm, I would imagine. But look, the kills are all shockingly creative, veering between grotesque and absurd, and in a way that stretched the limits of the human anatomy. There's a scene with, having a mental blank, Victoria, the she-demon with her face ripped off. She was in the first one, partially in the second one, and gave birth to Art's decapitated head, which, I mean, that's got to lead to supernatural shit. So anyway, that's another story. Yeah, like her scene with the glass shard, that ain't right. But fans of practical effects will appreciate the dedication that Leone has to the visceral hands-on gore. Sequences like the ones I've mentioned, and also the liquid nitrogen fire extinguisher are disturbingly innovative. And it's these moments that exemplify the franchise's talent for blending brutality with grotesque humor. Now on to rewatchability, and look, this is going to be a tough one because I saw this in the cinema when it came out, and then again for this review. So yeah, I have rewatched it already. But much like Terrifier 2, the length of these movies and the film struggles to find a balance between Art's antics and the arcs of the returning characters, leaving some plot threads unresolved or underdeveloped. It hinders my desire to rewatch this. But obviously, with another Terrifier film hinted at, I don't think it's been confirmed, but obviously with a fourth one possibly coming, if there is, I will definitely rewatch this again. Now, overall, Terrifier 3 is a bloody chaotic rollercoaster that will satisfy the most diehard fans of the franchise, but it may test the patience of others. It's bigger, bloodier, and more ambitious, but not necessarily better. The overindulgence in gore and the muddled attempt at the mythology dilute some of its strengths. I can see what they're trying to do, but they don't quite get there. And it leaves a film feeling more like a collection of shocking moments and a cohesive story. Now, whether that'll all change when they bring the story full circle and then we can connect the dots, fine. I will, admit that is a possibility. But at this stage, it's a little much like art. It's very chaotic. Now, if you're in it for the kills and the audacious effects, then Terrifier 3 will deliver that to you in spades. But for those who are hoping for a more refined or a narratively satisfying experience, this sequel, it might feel a little bit like an overstuffed stocking with too many sharp edges. That being said, I still fucking enjoyed it. And I would give it, for a score, an 8 out of 10. There you have it. Terrifier 3, that is my review of this film. Have you seen it? Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think of it? I really want to know, because like I said, there are some things about this film that are quite divisive. The demon arc, what is Victoria like? The angels. I didn't even touch on the magical sword and all that shit with Sienna's dad and all that. So what's going on there? This is a film that you could dissect and go on about for hours and hours upon end. And that's what I mean by, hopefully when this reaches its conclusion, we will know everything and we'll be able to point things, that's what they meant in that film. That's what he meant in that film. That's what he was going at there. Hopefully, that will happen. Anyway, look, before I dribble on too much, because like I said, this is a film that you can talk about for hours on end. I do want to say a big thank you for watching this, of course. If you haven't already, please do hit that thumbs up button. It'd be much appreciated. And of course, if you've made it this far and listened to me dribble on about this film, please hit the subscribe button. And of course, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I do release a new review. Obviously, I'm working my way towards the 1K. Of course, once I hit that, I will be doing a celebratory live stream, and there will be a giveaway. So keep an eye out for that. It is going to be one of my favorite films. So yeah. Anyway, look, thank you very much for watching. I'm not going to dribble on too much, but by the time this comes out, it'll be getting close to Christmas. So if I don't do another movie before then, please do have a safe and happy holiday period. Spend it with your family, your friends, whatever, but be safe. Have a good one. Bye.
In the shadow sharp as a blade, 60 seconds in like a fast-paced raid.